Greetings, this is Mr. No Face.
واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا.
That was the Sunnah from the Quran 65:4, and wasn't it beautiful? But actually it was talking about the waiting period after a divorce. The waiting period after divorce for 3 categories of women. It's a crucial verse in deciding whether the Quran allows for sex with prepubescent girls, marriage to and sex with prepubescent girls, because they're talking about the divorce period for 3 categories of women. The first of those are those who have despaired, often translated as despaired of menses, or despaired of their menstrual cycle, despaired of courses. And that would include women who have gone through menopause, and it would also include people who just are mature women who just never had a period. And I looked up this condition, amenorrhea, and in modern times it affects 4% of women at any one time. Those women who've never had periods, though, most of the 4% are women who have had periods in the past and for one reason or another they're missing a period. These are the panicked women who show up at clinics to find out whether they're pregnant or not, because pregnancy can induce this. But of those who never, are mature women who've never had a menstrual cycle, that's a small fraction. Very small, but it's conceivable. So I would concede that it is conceivable that this would have occurred. And who knows? This is Medina, 7th century. Health problems can cause this condition where women miss. Stress can cause this. So it may have been more common. It apparently was a very stressful place to live for a woman. So conceivable. But wouldn't they be entailed in the first group, those who have despaired? You would have to look into the usage of the Arabic word that has been translated to those who have despaired. What's the common usage? That would be an interesting question to investigate. The second group are those who have those who have not menstruated. Now, what's your first thought? Those who have not menstruated, that is, those who have not menstruated yet. And many translators of the Quran do it just that way. I looked into 33 that were featured on Corpus Quran, and they feature 33. There's the first group of 21. The group of 21 are those who are generally accepted. I noticed that it also included, in generally accepted, the Progressive Muslims translation. It's the only of the 33 that I've looked at, the only one that completely got rid of the verse. Why? Why would they do that? Because it's really embarrassing, and as I believe the majority of Muslims think, as I do, about the idea of a mature man having sex with a girl that's not physically ready for that. I'm sure they feel as I do on that. So it's embarrassing. So it's kind of funny that progressive Muslims decided just to get rid of it. Get rid of it altogether. But of the other 20 that didn't get rid of it, 7 of them translated as have not menstruated yet. Another, let me see here, I'm seeing of the 20, 1, 2, 3 have translated have not have not menstruated. The others are basically who do not menstruate. Little subtle differences there that suggest what woman they're getting at. And what woman are they getting at in that? It seems that most commonly this refers to women who have not yet menstruated, and many translators opted for that translation. Outside of that group of 20, there was another group of controversial, deprecated, or undetermined works. So some of them were interesting. Of that 8, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who translated it with yet. Others have not had, which to me suggests more strongly we're referring to prepubescent rather than some woman who has amenorrhea from the beginning. From the beginning, never had in her life a period. Of four non-Muslim scholars are considered, and of those 4, 3 of them translated as have not yet menstruated, and only one, Edward Henry Palmer, as have not menstruated. As have not menstruated. Anyways, none of them exclude, other than progressive Muslims, the idea that having sex and with a prepubescent girl is possible. It's just passed through there. Oh, we're talking about divorce Ida waiting periods. Yeah, they have to wait 3 months until the divorce is finalized. That's what we're talking about. It's just incidental that, well, we have to look at the types of wives that we're familiar with in our milieu. And all of those, we have 3 conditions. And one of them seems to be women who have not had their first period. That's the most common reason why a female has not had a period, is because she's too young. She hasn't gone through puberty yet. So what you'd have to do in the next step is look at the tafsirs, look at what the scholars historically have regarded this to mean. And Klinschor's done that, and it seems that the most respected scholars of Islam understand it this way. So I think we're really stuck with that in the text. We don't have any good reason to discourage that interpretation of it in and of itself. It's the acting on it that we want to prohibit. But just that interpretation of it, it's there. It really seems to be there. It's a possible, valid interpretation. It has been interpreted as that. So I think it's something you're stuck with. The repugnance that I feel towards the progressive Muslims for just, oh, well, that makes us look bad. I'm speculating, but for some reason they decide just to throw out that verse. Now, isn't there some prohibition in Islam for that? People who alter the word. Don't they have an awful fate? So, in that reading of the Quran,